Well, hopefully it's this world so we can see this third map between C9 White and G2 as we're kicking things off now on Breeze. C9 on defense, G2 on the attack, and lots of mid-control already with the first contact. We talked about Juliano, but it's still going to be the young gun and the veteran, but it's answered back by Mel. G2 now opening the B site and running in, and it's a rotate coming out, and it's going to take a while. Katsumi's already down to 13 HP. She needs Bob, who's all the way across the other side of the map.
Yeah, exactly. Katsumi's just waiting and biding her time. She cannot go down. Petra, at this point in time, she's already got an inkling of this potential flank happening. Bob's got to get some incredible shots to be able to make this retake happen. And the knife.
Oh.
The jig is up.
Yep.
G2 absolutely aware at this point.
It's just time to duel now. And Bob was looking for that first contact, but I love it. Smart here for G2. Play your numbers, play the pulse plan. Nice flash to come out too. And that's Katsumi to fall. And that just lowers the percentage rate for Bob to try to clutch this. And there you go, G2. Very nice on that pulse plan to win the pistol.
Exactly. Such good utility to even secure it there at the end. And again, we've been tandem, right? A flash with the knife or spacing with the Hunter's Fury. Beautiful stuff to really capitalize on all the pressure that these players are applying. And man, just almost a recovery, a little bit of a whiff at the beginning, and then just G2 exploding onto this site.
If anything, Mel got her too, but at the same time, it was heroic effort that was needed by C9 from nice spacing coming out from G2. And yeah, that was surprising what happened there at the beginning on that mid-fight. But again, after the pulse plan, everything was nice and clean. And this round already contact now towards mid. A save round for C9, but still damage in favor of the defense.
Yeah, that's some decent damage. It is onto the Reyna, unfortunately, who's able to just kind of suck her life back up to full. But Cloud9, they're being very brave here. Already pushed out of A main, and they see the trip. Gonna go ahead and decide to break it, and the jig is up. G2, you can see immediately Mary reacting, and they're gonna speed it up.
Oh yeah, realizing that the B side is now open. Just storming through. They have the power of numbers and the power of the guns and the power of friendship.
Stop it. You stop it right now. Mary coming through with the Marshall. We'll see. She's got that elbow control, and okay, she's gonna go. Oh
my God.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's try to see how much more damage we could do here, though. We activate the dash for Jazikin, trying to see if they can salvage anything up here. Marshall available. Spot it now. Glance looking for a pre-fired shot. Glance, though, lines both of them down, and that is not going to be a weapon that's going to be able to get saved. Last two now at the arches, at the wall. And that is going to be G2. Very, very nice anti-eco in C9 White.
Once you have that inkling, once you have that info that the enemies are working one part of the map, you can kind of do that process of elimination as the defender. So definitely looking to see what kind of info Alexis is able to get. Mel gets taken out. She misses the shot.
At least Jazikins is there, but the op is down and out in the open. We're trying to fight back with the split for G2 as we open the door. And there is that flash that we're talking about from the Reyna. But Katsumi at the bottom of the bridge, you got to pay the toll, and it's gonna be denied.
3v3 post, Bob. The wall is already down, so she's gotta be good for this flank to make things happen. Cloud9, they're slowing it down to make that flank do something, and during that time, Alexis was able to find one.
It's almost at a point where they just want to make it expensive for G2. If they're gonna forfeit the round on a 3-2, it's gonna be unorthodox to do. But they're gonna have to start acting quickly, because that clock is ticking down. ADSing with the shock dart. Katsumi gets the kill, but that's Juliano also at orange. She had a great spot in the forward position. Looks for the last two. As somehow the communication wasn't there. Somehow Juliano gets a 4K into the round and the Red Bull clutch.
What?
That at least puts G2 at a 3-0 and C9 White on an eco, pushing 2 towards the A-holes.
Bob, good for one, gets immediately traded out, and that stopping power towards B is no longer there. Alexis all alone, just the light weaponry as well, just a couple of sheriffs. Alexis has been so deadly. She's been biding her time and her confidence. This would be the moment.
Unfortunately, she gets pinched from behind. So that B side, hiding into the shadows, doesn't work out. Mel trying to do something with a headhunter, but this eco that comes out from C9 unfortunately won't do as much damage as C9 expected. Mary now putting up these kills, putting up the numbers, continuing her reign. Mel, is this going to be the answer back? As we're looking at the positioning though, Mel is all the way towards B, while the rest of G2 looking for that quick hit towards this A site.
Oh, I like this Lear. It's gonna block off the vision for Jazzykins, allow that drone again to get a lot of space, but Bob doesn't care. No Viper wall, it doesn't matter. Gets a clean shot, and Katsumi follows as well.
What a drive-by coming through, and that's a great hold by C9. Both Katsumi and Bob doing their job. As Katsumi still has his drone, she clears it out, trying to clear it out, but Petra answers back, getting a nice timing. Now the drone finally is going to ping her. This will allow Bob to get the wall bang. Well, I guess some sort of a wall bang. It's through the toxic screen as the spike falls. 2 more to go. And you mentioned it, it's Juliano. It's gonna be a tough one still here for C9. Spike still down, out in the open. Glance gets pinged out, but it still could allow Juliano to get a pick.
Ooh. What a round for Bob. She does get finally taken out. Juliano is able to replenish her HP just a little bit.
Correct.
But it's a 3 versus 1, and Cloud9 are so good at not over-peaking, not being overzealous, as disciplined as ever, and Juliano is going to come into 2 crosshairs right here.
That's exactly it, but she gets the kill onto Alexis. A 2 versus 1, but then Mel answers back. It was close. We felt it at some point.
We did.
On a Sova, but this time it's actually Katsumi that's playing it, right? Bob's playing a Viper here. And Katsumi and Bob are still able to play this A site quite well together. And then on that 3 versus 1, you already had first contact, just let the other 2, let Juliana cross, and you try to win that after. So great discipline for C9. Now the discipline, we're hoping to see this from G2, as it's going to be Mary pushing up here with the tour de force.
A lot of information gained. Alexis, the jig is up. Mary has been spotted, and Jazzykin so aggressive. Once again, has all of that Hall's control and is giving that information over towards her teammates, sees that trip, and we can expect to see some rotations coming through here for Cloud9. They've just given up the site completely, though. They're really playing far back off that trip.
Yeah. Pings are even coming out just to make sure we knife out towards the back of the site for G2. It's going to be a great opening, especially with that kill coming out from Alexis towards the arches. Petra falls from Mel right after. So the Yoppers from both teams going to work.
The flank from Jazzy finally coming towards fruition, and the timing glance just barely goes past the corner, and Jazzy's rewarded because of it.
That activated her dash to spot Glance as well, and that's going to be Glance by herself. Now with this Vandal, looking for this duel win, but there's only 18 seconds left, so trying to make the best out of the opportunity to at least win this duel against Jazzykins, and it works out. After that, more econ damage if you can. But 3 players all over here for C9, and that's a perfect contact to swing out. C9 puts 2 on the board.
C9 need a different winning strategy in order to be able to consistently put rounds on the board here.
Yeah, that's putting Jazzykins at that halls with the operator at the beginning of this round. Meanwhile, though, we have another push from Mel. So a double op setup here for Cloud9 White. Op shot misses, but at least some information there that it's been very passive for G2 at the beginning of the round. All of them now congregated towards a passive mid, where it doesn't work out on the op for Mary, and the op battle comes in favor of Mel.
What a 1-2 punch combo there. Alexis and Mel just completely holding down the fort. Jazzykin's gonna take her chances as well. That's a lot of information. I believe she did spot that KO maybe down in lower mid. Drone is up towards A main, and Cloud9, they've got all the information they need. Beautiful shot coming out here for Bob.
Hunter's Fury now coming out from Katsumi. Looking for some pings as the Seeker's on top of that, trying to line up that Hunter's Fury, but it's going to be the bullets of Bob's instead.
Wow.
2 clean shots, a win, a prime gaming flawless.
You love to see it. That's a feel-good round for Bob. That is absolutely a feel-good round. You were 0-4 down, and you were able to hit a couple of clean shots like that, and now all of a sudden, your teammates can absolutely vibe off you. G2, absolutely dominant in the first part of this first half, and slowing down just a little bit, but as I say that, they've got the ultimates online coming through into this next one in order to just really bounce back.
Oh yeah.
Spike down A. 1 enemy remaining.
From that fumble to now the clean rounds, making it very difficult now for G2 on the attack to get any type of map control at the beginning of this round. The extremities are well controlled by C9, and you're starting to see that confidence with them pushing more towards the extremities to capitalize on that map control that's given away by G2.
Yeah, exactly. Juliano, though, this time, she does not want those shenanigans. She's going to take her chances solo, taking over this Hall's control as her team gets mid. They've been able to get all of this mid almost for free this entire half. So, Juliano, this timing, there's no trip.
Oh. Yeah, we were talking about Bob, and that was Bob getting 2 kills off screen. So that mid control, it looks like it's always going to be open here for G2, but it's just continuous, beautiful crossfires and aiming down long sights that comes in favor here of Cloud9 already at a 3-player advantage. A flash coming out to get information courtesy of Alexis.
And you can see Mel already holding that line of sight right by her side.
This is perfect.
Mimi. Mel knows. Mel knows all.
Exactly. Mimi thought she had the timing and could assist her teammate.
Woo! That's a flick.
Of the day?
Potential 5, potentially 8-4. So for G2, I'm expecting potentially a timeout in the into the next gun round.
Probably need that indeed. Now, hero rifle for Mary into this round. Aldrone shot away by Mel, so no Pink Hunter's Fury to come out. That's going to make things a little bit more difficult for G2 to add that aggression and move in. But they move in with the power numbers once again. But Alexis lines up quite a few for 4 kills into the round. And somehow it becomes a 2 versus 1. Juliano, she was eyeing for that gun, but it got stopped by Bob Reed. So that timeout, you got to figure out how you're going to be able to keep your players alive on these hits, or at least on the first contact. And it looks to be an A split into this round. This could be good, Christine, because you have the Aldrone that can work out with the Hunter's Fury, and there's no KO on the other end to stop you.
Absolutely. These Lears are putting a lot of pressure on Mel. G2 are able to push her back. Job done. And Katsumi under a lot of pressure.
Elise gets that first one, got her one. Juliano answers back, and there's that Hunter's Fury that we talked about. A blind ult that came out, but Jazzikins, nice shot there onto Mary. Recon dart just to keep her at bay at the doors for now. The pit that we mentioned before comes out as well. A battle ensues towards Orange, and that's Juliano, her favorite spot on this map. Answered back by Mel with the headshot as well from the Vandal. Glance dancing inside the pit, welcoming the rest of C9 into her world, into this Viper's pit, spawning one at the doorway.
She's got time on her side. Spike is ticking away. The onus is on Cloud9 to make the move. They've got to make it into this Viper's pit, and I love the positioning from Glance.
Now we got time. Snake light on the ground! The lineup for the win! The Red Bull clutch for G2 Glance!
Just perfectly. She doesn't even have to aim there. Beautifully done. Really capitalizing off the kit of Viper. But what an execute coming here for Juliano. We talked about the Lears. And it's a little bit underrated, right? You don't expect it to have that much pressure, but Mel couldn't shoot anything. She couldn't see anything. All of her shots were going to deny the Lears, and that was all the space G2 needed. With that much Hall's control, they can have a lot of fun in that A site.
And when you have moments where the first execute for the trades is quite nice for G2, but when they lose those fights, you still have heroic players such as Juliano to just play that A side on their own on the post plant. This round, though, you saw that little bit of a mishap, a little bit of a mistake. The poison cloud that missed towards the door.
It missed.
Exactly. But it still allowed a save there on the top where Mimi could actually move out, so we'll take it.
Yeah,
we'll take
you know what? If you're Glance, you're saying that was absolutely calculated. You're welcome. I blocked off that vision for you. But I like this move for Mel, right?
Yeah.
Right off the beginning, being very proactive, looking for these duels. She wants to take this round into her own hands. But G2, decent response. The flash didn't make its mark. Oh, uncharacteristic miss.
But Alexis is still there for support. There's that trade-off, but already Petra's there. Katsumi already at the wall too, but she's by herself, looking to potentially fall back, wait for her teammates to move forward, but unfortunately gets caught through the toxic screen. Off to the decay, falls to her death. Bob
Spike planted.
looking to make at least a 2 versus 2 if she can get an early pick. But this position on the top of mid from Mimi, quite important.
Jazzikins, it looks like she does have a bit of a read. It looks she wanted to clear it, but the timing is beautiful for Mimi. Taking that time to just kind of swing out, and Juliano seals, forced that TP away. They had all that control. I think it's a good point, Vans. Cloud9, they've got to do something about this tunnel area. Those splits have been deadly.
Well, as they're focusing on the tunnel, you already see from this radar that Bob is moving forward, but for the rest of G2, seems like the plan is to look again for a mid to A split if they can, but with a lot of pressure once again from Juliano with the Reyna on the top of their door.
Where did that Lear go? I think it might have missed the mark. Katsumi has an inkling that there's a lot of pressure towards Halls. The communication's coming through, and she's good for the pick.
And a null command also to take control towards mid. Look at this pivot back from G2 to move towards this B site.
It's completely clear.
And all of C9 towards the spawn, just to try to fight back against Juliano. The respect that's given to that player as Bob watches the archway. Glance, unfortunately, overcommitted, thinking that she had the timing to cut the rotation. And it's up to Juliano to do that now. And look at that. 2 players from C9 White around the corner. Here comes the first trade. Headhunter, the re-heal, 58 HP. Mel looking to battle back, and as she runs out the door, Alexis greets her at the bottom of the staircase, but the action's not done yet. Spike has been planted, and another player falls towards B. 3 players alive now, 4 C9 make that 2. As now we've evened out the rotation for G2. Spike planet for B main, where exactly Mimi's moving forward. Mary being the other point of contact with this operator towards ladder.
Last player standing.
Time is ticking away. Mimi, another beautiful shot. Viper's pit looked like it was going to go down, but
yeah,
it doesn't. It's just
not
ticking
gonna
away.
happen.
Yeah.
Not even a halfway.
Oh.
The least you could do here is do a little bit of damage. Put that at least into your pocket, Bob, for those 2 kills. But the round still comes in for G2, and they take the lead in this half, 7-5.
What a
That Juliano and the rest of G2 have been flawless on this map since October.
looking good, looking good. They're going to need to start with this pistol to ride that momentum, especially from the first half. Cloud9, they were able to really take over the second half in the first map because of this. And there it is. Jazzykins just clotheslined Mary. That's a freebie. No trade in sight.
As we have the Trailblazer coming out from Alexis, spotting one towards the ladder, but it's still going to be Juliano. Dropping down Katsumi in close range Mel, headshot and a TP away, but that also means that C9 force-fits the B site, and they're going to try to cut doors for now.
And even though Cloud9 White are down numbers here, the controller and Viper, Bob, is still up. That means the wall can be kind of messed around with, and you can really play some mind games at this point. Cloud9 absolutely going to take advantage of that. Cut noise, as you say, Vans, and give Bob some time.
Yeah, that's a great point, Christine Ashley. By having this Viper still alive, you sell this fake by putting the wall up, still has a snake bite to work with. We'll see the last 2 maybe go through the doors, but that's also being weighted and graded by Mary as that chamber.
Mary, this line of sight in mid
30
is
seconds left.
so much information. She gets a heads up, and even the gun barrel showing, such a close shot. A lot of damage, though.
Exactly.
Mel barely limping.
Doesn't miss on that shot, though, with the TP away. Alexis and Bob, 4 versus 2. Disadvantage for C9. 13 seconds left on the clock. Alexis moves in, also spots Mimi on the top of the bridge. We have at least crossed over for a plant. This is huge.
Yeah, she's going to get the spike down, and
Player standing.
Bob, so much pressure, does get traded out. Alexis is 1 versus 3. No utility on her back either.
And that's the first contact against Juliano, but unfortunately all shoulder body shots. Another pistol round coming in for G2, so that's 3 pistols versus 1 overall in this series so far for the G2 house.
Yeah, you're absolutely more than satisfied if you're G2 with those kinds of stats coming in. And
This round, still going to be some heavy utility from the Viper on the A site being glanced. And for C9, it's a force buy, running right up towards the doorway. Double doors, now the tailwind activated, but stopped by Mimi. Glance and Bob trade each other out. As it's looking good, at least for Bob on the long range with the Sheriff.
Spike down.
Not until Mary comes towards the staircase. Bob now, who did have 2 kills coming in, looking for the last 3, unfortunately misses that recon dart, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough at this point. Petra peeking out. Nice headshot there, but down to 47 HP. Contacting on the second one as Juliano is inching up, but it's not needed. Mary gets the kill at orange, and that is going to be the anti-eco converted for... The confidence continues to reign here for Mimi. Hyping up the team as they take the lead by 4 on this map of Breeze. Petra into this, looking to drone out towards that B main, while C9 on the other end will be working with the hero rifle for Katsumi and holding it very passively towards the spawn to try to backpedal towards B.
yeah, I think Cloud9 really are expecting G2 to inch forward a little bit too deep and try to get that punish going. Juliano certainly testing her luck, and At this point, G2, they're pretty satisfied. They've got a lot of map control. Mimi, oh, that's overzealous.
Gun lost. Now picked up here for Bob, and they have a pit from that too. So that will potentially allow for a heavier hit and a pit to come out and a plant. There's that wall coming out from Bob. Meanwhile, Mel with the lurk. Spotted at the bottom here, a 1 versus 1 against Juliano. Meanwhile, though, the pit opens up. Mel has lost her life, but at least has slowed things down and gave the information for C9 that a flank will be coming very soon. Katsumi and Bricks, 3 players now holding inside the pit, and the first contact comes from between pyramids, and that's Petra with the wall bang headshot. Alexis trying to answer back, but they're just playing the time. Beautiful recon dart that allows Glance to get the kill. The numbers continue to dwindle down, and Bob is looking for the clutch. At least that's a first. Couldn't spray onto the second one. And G2 will get the defuse to move up at 10.
And again, G2 really leaning into those win conditions. That's exactly what you want to see. Julie, surprised not to see a pause here. Mel and the coach must have really solid idea of what the answer is coming into this one. I'd like to see them go back towards this A, not shy away from that hit. Again, it was just uncoordinated and a little bit unlucky, but G2, they're giving up this entire B site. A lot of focus towards mid with Juliano again.
And a dash, spike up on the back of Jazzikins with the tap on that fake. And that split the aggression that was intended for G2 towards the elbow.
Does Jazzy know she has the spike?
She did tap it, so I would assume that they do. So they're waiting for the utility to clear out from the snake bites coming out on the defense. And potentially the wall to come back up once again. Bob now spawning the first contact, at least from the window, and Mel fights back against Juliano.
Oh, wow.
That's an important kill to have. Bob with 1 onto Mary, but it's still gonna be G2 rolling in here towards that wall. But look at that, we slipped through. It's the QB sneak. We've made it towards the A site, and to cut rotations is gonna be Alexis, but
no.
she loses the fight.
She does lose the fight. Jazzykin, she's gonna be able to make it down, but look, Mimi, she's already sniffed it out. Too much time has passed, and this spike, G2 are wondering what the heck is going on. How has it not been planted? Katsumi, the comms are coming through. Cloud9 White, they want to regroup once more. Make this a 2v2. They don't want to be that split up.
They're okay to give up this B site for G2. Petra just hyper-focused into the top of Nest while Mimi has rotated towards the A side, so this is going to make things very difficult. The thing that's difficult for C9, though, is they have no idea where the rotation is going to be coming from. This is a great opportunity for Petra to get kills here off the pulse plant. And she spots the first one. At least a spikes planet for C9. Rotation then comes back out from Mimi from the spawn. She does have utility to work with, has a 0 point, and the recon dart also just came out. Both of them spotting nobody towards the arches, and Petra gets a beautiful shot there onto Katsumi. Shazikin needs this clutch. She gets pinged out, and it's going to be G2 with the round.
What a read. What movement coming through here for G2. And you saw, G2 are playing S-tier Valorant right now. You can see it with their immediate reactions, right? We talked about, it certainly has started as such. Mimi holding on to this knife. I like this lineup as well, Vans. It's completely unbreakable, and it gets really deep into the halls. That information, 3 members on the board there for G2.
And that's just going to allow Glance to be ready inside the pit. The Trailblazer to spot her, but no concuss, no sprays. G2 still holding the ground while C9 decides to rotate back towards this mid and B.
Yeah, now the Sky ultimate is very strong versus a Viper ult, but we can see that Cloud9, they don't really want to mess with it. They're leaving Glance's area of the map, and they want to regroup and try to make this B split happen. There it is, the ultimate online.
This is good. That would allow for C9 to flood into the site to fight the 2 members of G2 inside B. But G2 avoids all of that. We cancel out the push from C9 because of it.
Good defense, solid defense here for G2. Definitely holding C9 back at bay, but they're going to go once more. A double pump coming through here for C9.
30 seconds left.
That's Juliano just around the ladder, and unfortunately, Mal somehow snuck through, and also Juliano wasn't ready for that. B site now open. C9 easy plant. And of course, this time Jazzikin definitely knows she has a spike. Just got it planted.
Yeah, exactly. And this post should be easy breezy for Cloud9. Bob has such good positioning, but she gets laid out by Mimi. 3 versus 4.
Null command also available for Mimi that could actually cancel a lot of the utility for C9 on the pulse plant. Will it be used? potentially off a first contact kill, but that's a nice combination of Flashline Jasikins to swing out and get the headshot. And no null command to come out. Glance answers back for 2 though. Only she is left on his 2 versus 1. Spike is still ticking down, looking to win this battle against Mel. And a 1 versus 1. And Katsumi at least finally stops the bleeding on what would have been a great, despite it going in favor here of C9, that they're actually buying into this round, that if they lose, they're not going to have too much to work with. Very important now for C9 to capitalize onto a round with getting a lot of players alive. If not G2, they win this map for sure.
Everything invested in Bob. Looking to get a lot of ground. Oh, the time for Petra. It's a lot of information. Bob is not slowing down. Really aggressive stuff. Bob feeling like she needed to make that frag happen, but she just gets taken out. And now Cloud9 are in a pickle here, Vans. No smokes on the table. When your Viper goes down first, it can get really tricky.
Yeah, and that's the experience of Petra as well. Mirna talked about the sound here on land. Petra just decides to fall back with the angle to get that kill. And Glance, meanwhile, got another one into the round. That is going to be another fall towards the caves. So we just have to try to push in and go for picks. But look at the positioning from G2. They're just so good right now to control now even the map on defense. Only 1 left to go. And like I said, the economy's so low for Alexis. You just have to try to survive for the next 35 seconds. Can you do it? Everybody's closing in on you. And Petra is just waiting there on the top of Nest. The contact for the first kill, but that allows the swing to put G2 at map point.
You love to see those once knives in. This is the round that C9 need those knives to be a hero.
All the eggs into a basket, and that's going to be to head towards this B site. It's going to be quick, but it's still going to be Petra. First blood into the round. Woo! And Petra's not going to get out of anybody's way. Finally, Katsumi and Bob, they fight back, but still at a disadvantage for C9. Null command already comes out, so there's not going to be any Hunter's Fury. So as they're pushing through, Juliano gets the first. Bob looking for the clutch to save the round at least for C9 to stay alive
Viper's
into this.
pit.
The 3rd kill into the round, 10 HP left. And the Viper's pit available, trying to get the kill, but it's still gonna be Glance. Redemption comes in as G2 brings this to a 3rd map.
What a closer, what a round. Again, it's for Glance. No other than Glance, and it seems like if